through where I can immediately walk away and it's like unforgettable. And that's what I feel like happens. Can you tell us about the four birds? What are they?
So let's have some fun with it. Let's start off with an eagle. Here, I'll use my little guys here. So you got the eagle. Picture the eagle. Now, if you picture someone who is an eagle, what do you think they're like? What traits, what characteristics, what would you say an eagle is all about?
I don't want to say leadership, but they are vision oriented, maybe, or
Yeah, visionary. They like to take charge. Exactly right. Bottom line, direct, results driven. They make things happen. Next up, and notice how intuitive that is. You don't need to memorize that because you already know it. If I had a letter or a color, you have to memorize it.
they don't
Now
mind being alone
picture,
either. Yeah.
yeah, now picture the parrot. You know somebody, they're the parrot style. What do you think their style is all about?
Loud, vibrant, exciting,
Yeah,
yeah,
you already
entertaining.
know. They're
Yeah.
enthusiastic, optimistic, they're social, they're talkative, they're outgoing. But once again, you picture a parrot and you're like, got it. You already know. How about next one? The dove. Very different energy than an eagle or parrot. You picture someone with the dove. What do you think they're like?
Kind, sweet. They're connected. They're
Yeah, you
um,
you get it. It's
yep,
intuitive for
yep,
you. They're
yep.
compassionate, caring, helpful, loyal. They're good listeners. Once again, you already know the styles, which is what makes it so easy. Last one, the owl. Someone has the owl style. What do you think they're all about?
Yep, smart, intelligent, wise.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that knowledge doesn't necessarily correlate to the styles, but every cartoon owl ever drawn is pictured as wise. And it's because they're all about information and knowledge and data, and they're logical and they're analytical. And of course, we're not just one, we're a combination of all four. But as I said, what makes it simple is that I'll go back years later, 3 years later. There's one of these sitting on everybody's desk, and they still know the styles. I've had people say they are alive today as the day I learned them. And that's the power of learning about ourselves, is that we need a model that is simple and usable.
Merrick, I'm curious. So, can you bring me to the moment of pain that caused you to create simplicity rather than complication? Like, what's the origin? Why did this matter to you? I know that
Yeah.
you were yeah.
We were running training programs. We were running team building programs in my first company. We ran more personality styles training than any other company in the entire United States. We'd go back 6 months later, they wouldn't remember it. And then I felt like, I need to write a book. And I started writing a book, and I was about a third of the way through, and I kept feeling like I keep saying I was using the disc model, the dominant D, the enthusiastic I, because I felt like it needed something. And I was literally thinking, I wish this was more visual. I wish it was just something more simple that people could remember. And I was like, well, what would I use to symbolize them? And I was like, how
Mm.
about birds? Like, what if I use birds? And I was like, well, what would the D be? The D is the eagle, the I is the parrot, the S is the dove, the C is the owl. And that was it. Like in a flash, literally, I stopped writing that book. And then I had the vision of what if now these birds live in the same world? I could write fables, I can write stories where you watch them interact. And I didn't think I was going to grow a whole company out of it, but we have thousands of certified trainers all over the world now. And they deliver the training that we deliver based on the styles. It's been amazing.
Oh, that is amazing. I am I'm curious. I've heard. Oh gosh, who was it? I think Carl Jung said that when you find a personality type, it's really more about the person's dominant way of winning or getting what it is that they want. Um, I've heard a lot of some people say this stuff is permanent. Some people say it can be changed. What does Merrick say about
Yeah,
personality?
I have just as many people. We've worked with literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people over the years. And I have just as many people who say, if I were to take this assessment, because we have a profile, if I had taken it when I was a child, it would be the same thing today. And I've just as many people would say I'm very different. Our
Hmm.
role changes, our motivators change, our needs change, and over time, our style changes too. The more you display a behavior, you start hardwiring yourself for that behavior. So I think of our style as a snapshot in time. It's who you are right now. But 5 years from now, it could actually be very different.
I love it.
Donnie, could I jump in with a question
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Hi, everyone.
What do you got,
Alex, good
Alex?
stuff.
Merrick, I'm already so into. I've been putting stuff in chat this whole time. Uh, I almost want to dive into a really like heart of the situation conversation here. So Merrick, ever since I met you, ever since your content got onto Fuel, I've been using the birds every day. It has not as my wife has been using it, our team has been using it. My team will call me out. Our engineer will be like, Alex, I know I'm an owl, but stop giving me this very long, drawn out thing too. Now you're giving me too much. You get to the details faster, please. It's like,
Yes.
wow, okay, they're getting it. I'm trying to talk to them how they're going to hear me. And so what I want to really dive into and for people to hear here is your message and the way that you teach it so beautiful is we tend to impose our style on everyone around us and don't understand why some people can't hear us or they get frustrated or they don't do it.
Yeah, it's one of
And
the biggest challenges we have.
yeah, and explain to people like how an eagle talking to an owl with an eagle style will just completely destroy the experience and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Because you did a great example of like an eagle coming to talk, I mean, an owl coming to talk to an eagle CEO, how their presentation should look versus the other way
Yeah.
around. If you could just dive
I
in, I just
imagine
think it's
an
so powerful.
eagle talking to an owl. Bottom line, direct, get to the point, no fluff, be brief, be brilliant, be gone, tell them the facts, they're out. Whereas the owl's like, wait, what do you need? Picture delegation. An eagle walks into an owl's office and says, here's what I need, here's what I need it, make it happen. And the owl's like, wait, what do you want? I don't even know what you're looking for. The owl wants all the information, but because the eagle doesn't need it themselves, they make an unconscious assumption that you don't need it either. And then they don't give it to you. So now, as an owl, your needs aren't being met because you needed all that information to feel comfortable, and all you got was the bottom line. And that happens for all of us. Flip that around. The owl walks into the eagle's office and shares, here's what we're looking for. First, in phase one, here's what I'm looking now. I made a spreadsheet for you. So let's walk through the various sheets and rows and columns and walk through the process. Phase one, here's what I want. And the eagle's like, give me the goal. Don't you trust me? I'll make it happen. It's so easy for us to impose our style on others,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
don't realize we're doing it. So, step one, you have to know your style so you don't impose it on others. Step two, you have to read people so you understand how to talk to them. You get that down. Know yourself, know others. Done. You can communicate to anybody.
It's
I,
so true. And Donnie, I know you're about to jump into this, but does this translate in emails and text messages?
Yeah, imagine an owl writes an email to an eagle, and it's got 14 questions with sub questions, and the eagle writes back, sounds good, or just a thumbs up emoji. But the owl's like, what sounds good? I have questions. Or the eagle writes an email to a dove and says, here's what I need. And the dove's like, are they mad at me? I feel like they're mad at me. They didn't say hi. They didn't ask me how I'm doing. They didn't check in with me. Yeah, because you're talking to a dove. Soften the message, soften the words, warm it up a bit, ask them how they're doing, check in, wish them a good day. And you just told them what you want. You have to be able to read people faster, else you may be offending people and not even realizing it.
Well, Donnie, I'm handing it back to you. I just want to say what Merrick just said to you all. I did this on purpose because we just brought on a Fortune 120 company using that exact approach. The person looked just like an owl, decision maker, just like an owl.
You're looking
I'm
at
an
them.
eagle. I'm an eagle. I wanted to send him, hey, quick, we're going to move fast. But I knew it was an owl. I was like, we're going to take as much time as you need. Instead of a 30-minute meeting, which I scheduled with everyone, we scheduled an hour meeting with a 15-minute buffer at the end to answer. Oh my gosh, he had questions that never ended. He just never stopped asking questions. And he loved the fact that I was like, hey, I blocked out an extra 15 minutes. They're
Yeah,
on
and
board.
if you can read that the person's an owl and satisfy their style-driven needs, you know what happens? In a sales situation, they become a buyer. In a relationship situation, they become someone who you're connected with because they feel seen. Imagine a parent and a child. This plays out in every relationship we have, from sales folks to leaders to our spouse to our children. If you understand the people you're talking to, you can satisfy their needs instead of imposing your style on them.
I love it.
So good.
We can almost, there's a way that each of these people want to be led into, whether it's connection or a decision or whatever. It's almost like, I don't want to say it flies in the face of the golden rule. Treat others
Well,
the way that you want to be
the
treated. What,
the
is there
golden
something
rule,
better?
we'll play with that, right? The golden rule applies to values. Treat others how they, if you think about it this way, the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Treat others how you want to be treated. That is true for kindness, for compassion, for respect, integrity, reliability. Treat them how you want to be treated. But in terms of how I communicate with you, how I interact with you, that is where we do the opposite. There's a quote, every truth has its opposite, and they're both true. If we honor the fact that, yes, we have to treat people how we want to be treated in terms of virtues and values, but in terms of style, we treat people how they want to be treated. And they
100%.
both are true. One is for values, one is for style.
Yeah, I mean, in one allows you to draw people and allow it to be they're a partner in the decision or in whatever's happening versus you pushing them into whatever's about to happen. A lot of people do
Yeah.
rely on the push, and we know that that does work in leadership, but only to a certain point. Merrick, I know that you are. It's funny, we got together within a few minutes. You knew which of the birds I was, very very quickly. How can you help us to have that skill so that when we see someone, it's not judging, it's assessing where they're at
Yeah,
and
you read their
saying,
style.
yeah, how do you do, how would you teach us to do that?
Yeah, you could do it very fast. Before we began talking live, we were talking, and I knew we spoke for a minute. I'm like, Parrot, done. So here, I'll show you. In fact, I'm gonna model the styles. You tell me which one I am from just an introduction, a sentence or so. That is it. You already, from what we have done, have learned how to do it. I walk up
This
to
is
you at a
going to be so
networking
good.
event, and I say to you, "Hi there, nice to meet you, Merrick Rosenberg." What
Definitely an
style?
eagle.
You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
it's an eagle.
yeah.
There's
Very
an
commanding.
instant knowing. How about this? Hi, how are you? So nice to meet you, Merrick Rosenberg.
Dove.
And you know it. Hey, great to meet you, Donnie. I'm so happy to be here. Gonna be an awesome day,
Yeah, colorful parrot.
right? Hi, nice to meet you, Merrick Rosenberg.
Right. And owl, although it's weird because sometimes the owl and eagle feel like they like it's ooh,
Well,
which one of
the
those is it?
difference is hi, nice to meet you versus hi, nice to meet you.
Mm,
There's an intensity, a confidence level.
there's a
And yeah, I'm in your
yeah.
space now. And
Hmm.
this is the power. Notice what you just did. In seconds, you already can read my style. Take an email. Show me a couple emails. I'll tell you their style. You already can do that. Eagle, right to the point, sentence or two, boom. Owl, the scroll bar pops on. Like, wow, there's still more questions. The parrot, dead giveaway, exclamation point. Hi, how are you? Hope you're having a great day! Exclamation point. Right? Filled with exclamation points. The dove, it begins with niceties. How are you? Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope this finds you well. It ends with, hope you have a good week. If you need anything, talk to me. You can feel the tone. Just from an email, you can tell someone's style. This is the power of, if you know the styles, you know how to read people, now you know how to adapt to them.
Mm. So, and I'm assuming that also carries over into physical appearance or someone's office. There might be other traits that kind of like
Yeah.
allow you to still do the same
Walk
thing
into
as
their
well.
office, you immediately know, like Dove offices, there's family pictures. The parrots have like action figures. There's stuff everywhere, like my bookcase. There's stuff everywhere. Eagle, it's sparse. It's just, business plans, charts, graphs, awards are typically trophies
Trophies, yeah, right.
hanging in there, plaques. Owls, it's their diploma, things they were certified in, which shows their expertise. And doves come in two variety, or owls come in two varieties, which is funny. There's the filers and the pilers. Some offices for the owl, they file everything. It's perfect. Everything has a spot, everything in its spot. Other owl offices, it's like the mad scientist, things everywhere because they need them because they don't know what they're going to need that moment, but they know where exactly everything is. So
Oh,
offices, body language, tone, email, it's all right there for you. Once you know the styles, you can read it.
All right, for those of you who are watching live, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or you've registered for this webinar, I want you to take a moment and assess which one of these you think you are. And Merrick, if there are maybe a few opening questions that you might do that could help us to figure ourselves out, do you have a few of those in your bullet
Sure,
holster?
sure. Yeah, it's more of it, in reality, it's more paying attention to what they're communicating to you. But if you were to say to somebody like, how much information should I provide to you? How much do you want just big picture, or do you want me to give you everything? That already starts to narrow down eagle and parrot, big picture, owl and dove, more detail oriented, right? So
Help
like,
help us to figure ourselves out in this one. So if I'm like, I don't know what bird I am, can you give me a few questions that would help me to know which of the
yeah,
birds
so
that I am?
first off, fast-paced or more even, steady-paced. If you're more fast-paced, you're probably more eagle parrot, more even, steady-paced dove owl. More people-oriented or relationship-oriented. If you're on the people side, more parrot and dove. If you're on the task side, more owl and eagle. So if you're more task-oriented, fast-paced, eagle style, more people oriented but fast paced, more parrot. If you're even, steady paced but people oriented, that's the dove. And even, steady paced, task oriented, that's the owl. So we have an assessment, of course, that people can take, but you can figure out your style very quickly. And once you get it, now you really start to to understand how you're acting in the world. And every study you will ever look at on self-awareness says that the most self-aware people are not only the most successful, but they're the happiest.
Mm.
And this lies at the heart of self-awareness. Who am I? What is my style?
So this is fun because a lot of people we listen to Merrick or people like you, Merrick, because we want to see like, well, how can I fix them? But really, it's not just about leading others. There's a way that we lead ourselves, isn't there, that allows us to be calibrated to the type of work that we do and how we do it and the pace we do it. And can you like, are there scenarios, Merrick, where it's maybe like you're an eagle, but you're working like a dove, or maybe you're more of a parrot, but you're acting like an eagle, but it's like we put on a some sort of facade so that we can be
Yeah,
successful. Does
happens all the
that?
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, I tell people you want to be the chameleon, which is somebody who can work in any of the four modes, that you
Hmm.
can adapt to the situation and adapt to the person. Having said that, if your job is not in your style, it probably exhausts you. Like if you are a parrot and are crunching data every day in a cubicle, it is probably exhausting. Can you do it? Sure. Could you be great at it? Absolutely. But I'll bet you go home every day tired. So you want to find a role that allows your personality to shine. I say this when I'm speaking at universities. Like everybody always says, do what you love. I'm like, okay, this is kind of cliche wisdom. Of course they want to do what they love. But what I say is find a job that allows your personality to shine, because if it does, you will go home energized every day. If you are in a role that is not allowing your personality to play out, you're going to go home exhausted every day.
So I'm let it stand on record that Merrick has corrected Simon Sinek, who says start with why. You're saying start with how? Maybe a part of the expression of,
I,
of,
I
of
would say
kidding. I'm
start
just
with
playing
who.
with you.
Start with who you are.
Ooh, oh, that's what
Start
an
with,
owl would say. Yeah.
right?
Good
Start
example.
with who you are. And that will then guide you to what will bring happiness and joy. I mean, imagine an eagle every day just listening to people's problems, like on a helpline. Oh my God, another,
Right.
another problem. Whereas you have a dove doing that, they're empathetic and they're like, I got to help people all day and I got paid to do it. What a great day. If your personality shines, you're loving your role. If it's not, it's exhausting you.
I love it. How I'm thinking like how would you let's imagine you are someone that is this should affect how we're being not just leading others, but also being led. So imagine that like there's some husband-wife conflict that can be solved if someone just knows how to calibrate their communication. So how can you help others to lead you or communicate with you if you have this awareness?
Well, the first thing is you can't change them. The only thing you can change is yourself or your perspective. So if you expect someone to treat you a certain way or be a certain way, then it's almost like saying, I don't value you for being who you are. I'm a parrot. My wife is an owl. When I ask her a question and I get a text message that I literally am like flipping the screen up 8 times to read all of it, I don't get annoyed by it. I say, thank God she is an owl because she keeps me safe. She does all the things that I would never do, that I wouldn't want to do. So I accept her for being who she is. She manages, look, I have an MBA. She's a psychologist. Who handles our checkbook? She does because she's an owl. Now,
Yeah.
she wants to go buy a car. When we first met, I was like, just go in there. We'll bargain. Let's do it. And she's like, oh, I don't like it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't like it? I judged it because I didn't understand her. Now I accept her for being who she is. I let her play to her strengths. I go in, I buy the car, I play to my strengths. Judgment is gone. You take something away, it gets replaced with something else. You replace it with acceptance, conflict and drama melt away. When you,
Mm.
Mm.
instead of expecting people to adapt to you, value the fact that they're not you and they're different and they bring something else to your relationship. And how great is that? That they
Mm.
can do something that you can't. That's what changes the relationship. It's not trying to get them to change or you change. Be who you are and accept it's a good thing, not a bad thing.
I remember, I don't know if it was after one of your sessions, but there was a life-changing moment where my wife, she's like it was always at the end of the day, she needed help. And of course, like we all need help, right? She said, revelation occurred where I'm like, well, instead of saying, hey, I need you to do the dishes, or I need you to pick up the kids, or I need, let me be like communicate with me in a way that gives me an option for herself. So a little bit more like the eagle, personality thing. Like give me options and let me know that I'm rescuing you. So like, oh honey, today's been really tough. I can't get to it all. Would you be able to pick up the kids or do the dishes? Like, would you? And it's she found a way to almost hack into like that resistance that I have for doing things.
Yeah. Or maybe she says, because eagles like to fix it and solve it. Oh, I'm totally overwhelmed. And then you go, well, what can I do? Got
Yes.
it. Right. And so it's all of a sudden like, I'll fix it. And you feel the joy of like, oh, I get to solve it and be helpful. How awesome is that? Whereas
I
if you
get to
were
be a
the
hero.
owl, you might specifically want, here's exactly what I need from you. Here's how I need you to help. Like on Thanksgiving, I didn't start doing things. I said to my wife, what do you want me to do? Okay, set the table. How about this? You set one of the place settings and I will replicate it. Because
Ah,
if I don't do that, I'm going to end up change. She's going to go in and reset the whole table anyway. So I know how she thinks. Give me an example and I will follow it and I will do it exactly how you want it done.
oh my
And so I
gosh.
know how she thinks, so I communicate with her in that way. I mean, it's like all the drama goes away because I'm speaking her language. I said it earlier, she's feeling seen and valued. Instead of got it, I walk in, I put all the plates out, and then later on I walk by and I have a magic table that resets itself.
That's so brilliant. We may have just saved someone's marriage right here and right now, Merrick. I want to switch it to recruiting for a moment. I've heard it said from one HR manager I dealt with. He said, most people tend to hire in their own image, or sometimes companies that are very oriented in, let's just say, sales. They get one archetype that they go after, but really, like, would you say that we need the full palette of these things in any company? And
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Well,
how should
here's
we
the
be
thing.
recruiting?
Certain roles will draw certain kinds of people. If I go into an engineering firm, it's a tremendous amount of owls. I go to a marketing team, there's a tremendous amount of parrots. That is true. But the problem is that sometimes we hire in our own image. And I would say sometimes you want to do is staff your weakness. And if you've ever had this experience where one person is different on the team, you've got this whole group of people, and it could be any style, but you have one person who's different. It doesn't matter what style that is, that's your innovator. That's
Mm,
the person who thinks differently from everyone else. And if you were looking for one particular style, you would have screened them out. You would have screened out the
Mm,
most innovative person on your team. And so that is the challenge is yes, you can have an image of what you think is going to be successful, but be open to the possibility that someone else could be equally successful, but do it differently.
mm.
And that person is probably going to bring some creativity to your organization.
Wow. There's a concept that you talk about in your new book called personality intelligence.
Mm.
What like how would you describe that to us if you were to, I think it kind of self-describe bring us into the in crowd on that.
See, styles have been static for thousands of years. You can go to ancient Greece 2,000 years ago, ancient China 2,500 years ago, and there are these archetypes, the warrior, the healer, and they are fixed. They don't show an evolution. But, you take the warrior, when they were young, maybe the warrior got into a lot of fights. Maybe as a healthy version of the warrior, they go to battle, they make things happen, they fight for a cause. But maybe the enlightened version of the warrior never
Mm,
gets into the battle at all. And so what I did is I took the four styles, the eagle, parrot, dove, and owl, and I created a trajectory where level one is the unevolved state, where it
ooh.
doesn't serve you. The eagle who has to win, so they're playing Monopoly with their friends, and right before they lose, they quit. They go, I don't want to play anymore. Or I lost, but not in my book. You cheated because they couldn't handle losing. At a healthy level, now you've got the ego at level two, which is the typical state. Yeah, they're salespeople. They want to win the deal. At level three, what's very interesting is this is the master state of your style. And you at this level, you balance your strength with its opposite. Take ego confidence. It's even more powerful when it's balanced with humility.
Mm,
Parrot talking, they're social, good storytellers, but when they balance that with being a good listener, that's even more powerful, right? The dove who cares for others and is so giving become even more powerful when they also recognize that they have to care for themselves. The owl who is planned and organized becomes even more powerful when they balance that with some level of spontaneity. And so so I have this unevolved state, the typical state, and the master state. And then there's a final state called the chameleon state, or the chameleon level of personality intelligence, where you not only do you master your style, but you master all four styles. And this is like rarefied air, but when you find these people, man, they achieve things that people in their peer group don't even get close to.
oh my goodness. Merrick, I'm getting chills as you're going through this because I'm seeing like these just personality types overlaid with this hero's journey where the hero comes back transformed. And I see a lot of people that get to a station of leadership because they were like that level one that you mentioned earlier. They're really good at being a parrot or an eagle or a dove or whatever it is that they are. They're really good. And they think that's the end all be all. That's how they got their results. But there's something greater that can happen as we develop into like that next level up.
Yeah,
Wow.
can you imagine? I'll give you an example. Can you imagine somebody like Taylor Swift or someone like Oprah or Dwayne Johnson? These are people that have so far exceeded people in their peer group. And they, no matter what they do, they seem to master it because they have access to all four styles. And when you display all four styles, you appeal to everyone. I mean, look at Taylor Swift. What she has accomplished is unbelievable. I mean, she rises to the top of the country charts, then leaves it and does it again in the pop charts and the massive following she has. Oprah, billionaire. That didn't come from talk show host. That came from being confident and eagle as an entrepreneur, being the parrot and charismatic, and her philanthropy and compassion and empathy on stage with her guests. And you've got her owl side, which is meticulous. Dwayne Johnson rises to the top of the wrestling world as an eagle, then leaves that world, goes to action movies, rises to
Yes.
the top. Then joins Kevin Hart and is hilarious in so many movies, adds Parrot. But you watch him in his YouTube videos and he's so dove. He talks about anti-bullying and he talks about his mother and he plays ukulele with her and it's just so touching. He's also an incredible entrepreneur that manages so many businesses meticulously manages what's happening, and that's the owl. When you meet these folks, it's incredible what they have done. And that's the goal, is to master not only your style, but all of them. That's what I talk about in personality intelligence. How do you not only master your style, but how do you master all of them?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I do believe that if you are a leader, there's probably no greater journey for you to be on than what you're talking about, Merrick. Where can we find your stuff? Because I think everyone can benefit from what you teach. Obviously, you have one of my top courses in Fuel is yours. I love it. Can't get enough of it. It's like it's so simple and like portable. It goes right into my brain. I understand it. Where can we get your book? Where can we connect more and deeper with Merrick?
Yeah, if you go, certainly the book's available on Amazon and any booksellers online, you can purchase it. At takeflightlearning.com. You can learn a little bit about all the training programs we offer. And my name, Merrick, Rosenberg.com. I spend a lot of time on stage at conferences. And so if you're looking for a speaking gig, that's where you learn a little about me and what I do there.
Oh my gosh, how fun! I'm gonna scroll through some of the questions here, and we'll see. I think we had there was a lot of stuff, but I just want to make sure that everyone there's a lot of amens and people agreeing here. So let's just see. People love you. They're parrots. Let's see. Um, oh, Kara said this should be taught way earlier in life, and she said, "Can you imagine what would be the impact?" I know you have a children's book too, right?
Yeah, not only a children's book called Which Bird Are You, but a whole children's curriculum, a 10-lesson guide for teachers. We work with schools. We got a children's profile. What's really amazing is the child takes the assessment and they get a report back, and it has three sections. One for the child, like what's your superpower? What makes you special? One for the parents, how do you parent that child? And one for teachers, how do you teach that child in the classroom? So for me, I 100% agree. If there's any comment I hear more than any comment, I wish I knew this before. And it's always filled with, I wish I knew this when I was a kid. I wish I knew this before I started working. I wish I knew this before I became a manager. But the biggest one is, I wish I knew this before I got married. That is hands down the biggest one.
For sure, right?
But
Let's
yeah, I agree.
see.
Teaching it to kids, and kids get it. I taught it to my kids when they were 6. My books are designed for kids. You could 6 years old pick up Which Bird Are You, and it has the Eagle Kingdom and the Parrot Kingdom and the Dove and Owl Kingdom, and the Vulturans are coming. So they've got to work together.
Oh, okay. I've got to say, like, if you like some of us, we may think, oh, like, well, that's such a low level. I think that if it's teachable, if it can be taught to a child, like we're talking about true distilled knowledge, and it's like this is something that, by the way, not just you, but your team should be running with. This is such a great sales tool. There's all kinds of people singing your praise. Let's see. The final comment says, yes, we tend to view people as difficult, especially in conflict, but they're usually not trying to be difficult. They're just a different personality type. We haven't,
They're
we,
being themselves.
they're being themselves.
Yeah, and understand it's not about you. Like when the owl asks you 1,000 questions, it's not that they don't trust you, it's that they need the answers to feel comfortable to move on. And so when you understand, I talk about a lot about that in personality intelligence. Sometimes what happens is we evolve, but our family members do not. We've moved to level 2 and level 3 and maybe level 4, but they're stuck in level 1. That's super hard. So I talk a lot about that too. It's how do you deal with people who maybe aren't as evolved as you are, and how do you understand people and not judge them?
I know my next book. I know the one that I'm going to be giving out as a gift. I have two questions, and I have like 200, but I have two, and we're over time. And so I know a lot of people but we're just getting so much out of this. One of the ones, I guess, let me ask you this. If someone's watching this today and they're going to walk away with one idea about personality intelligence that they can put into play, that could impact their lives, that can maybe make them more money or make them more happy or whatever, like what should it be? What should we be taking away?
If I were to give you a sentence that you could just remember, it's don't impose your style on others. And the simple model is know yourself, know their style, treat them how they want to be treated. Don't impose who you are on who they are. Don't assume that because you need something, they need something. They may need something very different. And if you give them what they need, guess what else happens? You get your needs met too.
Hmm. I like it. I love it, man. What a fun session, man. I can't wait to get more Merrick in my life. I guess my other question is, can I be you when I grow up? But I don't know. Alex, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm just once again, Merrick, I'm blown away. This has you being involved in my world now, like I'm talking about personally now, has changed everything. My wife is actually was commenting. She was on listening to you as well, Merrick, commenting because it's changed the way that we lead our lives here in this house. And I've
That's
just
amazing.
noticed the impact that it's making on the team as well. And so it has been probably one of the most transformational, impactful pieces of information I've uh, collected over this year of 2025. And I think it's going to go to the grave with me because it's under. I look at people and I go, "Ooh, that's a dove." Like it
Yeah,
just naturally starts to happen
you
now.
start seeing it everywhere. Once you, it's called the Bader-Meinhof effect. Once you bring something into your
Hmm.
awareness, you start seeing it everywhere, right? You get a red sports car,
Yes.
you start seeing red sports cars. Once you know the birds, you start seeing them everywhere. And how awesome is that? That you start seeing people
Oh,
for who they are. Can't beat that.
but I think you can't beat that. And I'm going to share this right here with those people that are still on. I selfishly talk to you all the time. You're very busy, so I can't get the physical you, but I am constantly talking to the AI version of you because
It's
I'm
true.
constantly thinking, how do I talk to a specific type of person? So I'm just going to show
Hi,
this to
Alex. How
everybody.
can I help you today?
Hey, Merrick, I'm getting ready to get into a meeting with what I know to be a Dove personality, and she's the decision maker on this deal, and I'm an Eagle. How do I need to temper myself, and what should I come to the meeting prepared with?
Great question, Alex. Meeting with a dove when you're an eagle means you'll want to dial down your natural fast-paced, direct style and lean into warmth and patience. Doves value harmony, connection, and feeling safe. They don't respond well to pressure or bluntness,
Merrick, could you
which
help me come up with a script that I could maybe open up the conversation with?
absolutely, Alex. Here's a script idea that balances your eagle directness with the dove's need for connection and reassurance. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I really appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your needs and how we can work together to create a solution that feels right for you.
Okay, so I'm telling you all right now, for me, Merrick, it's a superpower. It's an absolute superpower to not, so that I am not I don't want to guess how the meeting is going to go. I want to engineer the result I want, and this helps me engineer the results I want. So, Merrick,
The
thank
AI is
you.
amazing. I listen to myself, I'm like, I would have said that. I told my staff when I'm out and I'm on the road and I'm speaking at events, if you have questions, just ask the Merrick AI.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Just
That's
ask him.
exactly right.
He says what I would say. Just ask him.
It's so good. Well, I just wanted to share that with everyone because it is a superpower. And Donnie, thank you so much. I just want to remind everyone, Donnie is our new host at Leadership Live, and thank you so much, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for
Thank you
being
for
you.
having me.
Thank you
Great
for
talking with you,
giving.
Donnie.
Yeah,
Hey, thanks for
thank you
giving
for
me
all
a
of that.
space to talk to my heroes. And for those of you who are listening, we will sign off. We'll say goodbye. Hopefully, we've whet your appetite for the man, the myth, the legend. You need to go find Merrick Rosenberg, and
Yes,
let's lead better. Let's live better.
that's it. Thank you.